Hey everybody, welcome back to Cineflex. My name is Manny,
And I'm Juan.
and today we're going to be discussing It, Chapter 2. Today we're just going to be discussing what we liked and what we didn't like, some things that stood out. And yeah, let's get right. I think I may have more to say, so let's just start off with you. And with saying what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it.
All right. Well,
All right.
I'm gonna go throughout the movie real quick. And
Well,
I started not like.
Well, let's just, one of the big first things that everybody's saying is that it's too long. Did you think it was too long?
At one point, probably like halfway through, not halfway, a little bit past halfway, it did start to feel a little long. But then because I got more into it like in the second half of it.
Really, in the second half?
Yeah, and because I got into it, I forgot about it, so it was fine. Like once the movie ended out, I felt fine.
I think I liked the first half better.
Yeah.
Or not the first half, but the first half was what? But yeah, keep going.
Like all the things they're doing.
Yeah.
You know. The only reason I didn't like it, it's not that I didn't like what was going on. It was that it just felt weird. Like the movie felt weird, and
Yeah, I'll address all that.
and there was a bunch of not just like, eh, how can I say it? Because there was a lot of creepy weird stuff. Like that's not what I mean. I mean weird like some of the way they were acting and the way they were talking with each other, and
Right.
the way the clips would be it'd be something and then all of a sudden something completely different. I don't know.
You remember
It's just weird.
Do you remember any specifics?
Like the time.
You mean when it cuts out to when they're young? It transitions to when they're young?
No, well, there was one when it does do that, but it's not with the kids. It's with the crazy guy.
Oh,
When
with
all of a
Hen-
sudden it's
Henry Bowers,
this
yeah.
kid pops out, and I was like, "What? Where does this come from?"
Uh-huh.
I thought it was in the present, like something that was happening
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now, but it was just out of nowhere. Just out of nowhere, it's a clip from the past.
Right, yeah, with Henry Bowers. Yeah, that one was a little random, but I mean, once you see him young, you kind of realize, okay, we're in the
Yeah,
past.
I realized it was him once he he started walking.
I don't think they
towards
wanted to
us.
show him as an adult first, because then you'd be like, who is that? They just wanted to show him, oh, he survived.
So that you know that.
That's
yeah.
when the water came out, yeah. Yeah, that's when it happened. It was like a water all down the sewer.
And a bunch of dead bodies.
And a bunch of dead bodies, and now all of a sudden, yeah, that felt like the president. I agree. Yeah, that felt like the president. Then we see him young.
Yeah.
Keep going.
But to me, yeah, that first half, it was just, I don't know, it just felt weird. It was just, like I said, the acting, the way they were acting was just weird. It didn't make sense at certain times. Their emotions would change so drastically all of a sudden.
Right.
They would go from they're just there doing whatever.
You
and
thinking
then,
about
their
when they're all
emotions
together
just
again
would
at
change.
the Chinese theater? I mean, the Chinese restaurant. That's
Restaurant.
when it starts.
Um,
Or
yeah.
did it start once
probably,
they got
around-
the? Did it
around
start
that
once they
part.
got the phone calls? That's
No,
they
I
started
think that
acting
was
weird.
fine because, I mean, to me, it was whatever. They're trying to get back together. The only weird one for me there was the girl one.
girl one?
What's her name?
Beverly.
Beverly, yeah.
That was weird for her as an adult.
Yeah, it's just but I mean, I kind of you get it because of how she grew up,
Right.
I guess. But it was just out of nowhere, it threw me off.
Oh, that the
The guy was abusive and
the husband was abusive. Okay.
it was just, I don't know, unexpected.
It didn't feel like.
Kind of felt unnecessary.
Well, a lot of the things that when it happens, the whole point was when they were adults. I mean, I don't want to be here since I've read it. I don't want to be explaining or trying to back up the movie in certain points just because I read it, because I don't want to
No, but
be
I mean,
that guy or
I
spoil
guess.
the book for people
book.
who haven't read it. But yeah, one of the, we'll just talk about the movie. As when they were adults, or just everything that they where they ended up is pretty much an echo of when they were kids.
Yeah, you see
Same
that
as the
later
echo
on
with
through the movie,
with
yeah.
Pennywise that explains that everything it echoes back every 27 years. And yeah, once they leave Derry, they forget everything.
Yeah.
But there's a certain aspect that's kept with them. That's why each of them, one of them has their
Those
inner demons of with Beverly with
Oh,
her dad.
I get you. Yeah.
Eddie with the woman he's married and how she's her mom, his mom, and Ben. I didn't really show Ben, but they just show Ben as kind of lonely, and then how he still felt lonely as a kid too. Mike stayed behind, and Richie just stayed the same pretty much. pretty much just joking around.
Yeah.
But yeah, that all felt weird to you as soon as, and then once they got together at the Chinese restaurant.
Like I said, like it was just the way. To me, it felt like the way they were kind of acting, especially when they were together. It was weird, and because it felt like it was a lot of just like clips.
Right, like montages.
Kind of like that, yeah. And then what else?
What did
like
you
I
like?
said, like once it got to like the halfway point, like around once they're getting like their totem or whatever they were getting, like towards like right after that part, that's when like it started feeling more like
So once they were all together and they're
something
actually decided to go
more
under.
fluent,
Okay.
other than like I said, like clips. It felt more fluent in the second part. And what else? Oh, I liked visually. It was really good. Like all of the horror aspect of it, like the way that they're trying to scare you, is more visual than suspenseful. I guess to me, it didn't feel suspenseful or anything like
No,
that.
definitely not. No.
It was just visually supposed to scare you in a way, or creep you out. Like, oh, like that's so creepy looking old lady.
Yeah, that was a creepy. I didn't
Like,
expect that.
It was just very creepy looking, but it wasn't like it wasn't suspenseful or scary. Oh, and that was the other thing. Like in the first half,
You mean the first movie?
No,
Oh, the first half of this
of this movie. At no point throughout that first half did I feel like they were in danger of anything at all. Like every time that they saw anything, it was always a vision.
Or
Like there was like nothing was them actually being in danger of anything. And that it's not until they get to the cave that they're actually in danger.
right.
So that's another thing I didn't like, because I felt like in the first movie they were in danger throughout the entire movie.
Yeah, well, that's because
Like,
they were
there
kids.
was but still, like it's this monster thing.
Yeah, but
and
that's
it's
the whole
like-
point. The whole point was Pennywise couldn't kill them because they weren't scared. And then since they're coming back in town, they don't remember anything. They don't remember what. They just know they were afraid of something. So
Yeah, but at
so
that
that's-
point would have been the point where they're at their most vulnerable, because they are scared.
right.
And because they're alone, they're all individually going out. By
Yeah, you're
themselves.
right. But there's still something there that he can't get. And that I do believe, though, the movie kind of flaws in that it doesn't explain why Pennywise can't kill him. Because there's a lot of points, especially in the first movie, too, when the kids are in the house, in this movie, you feel like, why doesn't Pennywise just kill him already?
Yeah,
Yeah,
do
they
feel
don't.
that way a lot
They don't really show why exactly why.
But at least
they
in
can't
the
kill
first
them?
one, he's trying.
Yeah, but there's explanations as to why Pennywise can't get to them. And
I figured like
yeah,
that's like the biggest point of this group, is that he can't kill them.
yeah, exactly.
But still, like at least in the first one, he's trying,
Mm-hmm.
and in the first one, you still see that at least a couple of them.
Yeah,
And
the whole
even
point
though
was
they're
what
scared,
just
they're
remember at the
still-
end when they kill him off, he's still like technically he's still supposed to be injured in this one. Like they injured him like real bad.
Yeah.
Where he's not like to his full potential in the second one.
In the second one.
In this one,
I heard someone say that.
Yeah.
That was from the first one.
Yeah,
Like,
so
he's
after they
still
kill him, yeah,
basically hurt.
yeah, he's pretty much
He's
hurt.
weaker or
He's
whatever.
weaker, yeah, definitely.
Uh,
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
what I'm saying.
It's
I
just
know.
that the movie doesn't feel like
Yeah,
they're in danger.
yeah, I agree. There was a lot of points where like definitely Pennywise was like could have for sure killed them. But if you don't know, that's why for fans of like the book, or people who actually, or yeah, I'm gonna just say the book, they've gonna appreciate the movie a little bit more because they know they have backstory in their head. They know what they're looking for, and that's why when I was watching the first half, I was like, oh, I'm really enjoying this. But I thought the beginning of with the whole hate crime at the beginning about the homosexuals, that was a powerful intro for me.
Intro.
I thought it was good, and that's exactly how the book starts. After they're adults, and then from then on, and then we see all the Losers Club introduced.
Does that have
And
anything to do?
yeah,
with
what?
that hate crime? Does it have any more?
It just means that
uh,
that he's back. Like Pennywise is back, and when he's there, the whole town changes. The whole town becomes more evil, and then
yeah.
it gets to it's just showing that it also shows that he doesn't necessarily just kill kids either. It just kills people who are at their vulnerable state.
Yeah.
and that fool was about to die, and I'm sure he was terrified. It doesn't have anything to do with like, oh, Pennywise kind of. It's not that Pennywise kind of made the guy do it. It's just it was because he was there that whole town begins to change, yeah, and they get all the emotions, yeah, explode. The reason I would think people would felt that this movie was long is, I mean, it's a lot of characters you have to deal with, and it's kind of hard to actually go through each one of them without making the movie feel long, because they each get like a big part of this movie. And one of the more important things that they needed to do was show this whole character arc between each one of them. Because one of the biggest things about the story is how it's just overcoming fear, and then how children and adulthood. That's what they're trying to show. Between the difference between children and adulthood, and how fighting things as children and fighting things as adults. Which is why they needed to get together at the end of this movie as they were doing the whole ritual. The ritual is a little different in the book. I didn't like the way that they had to get each one of them had to get a totem. Because here's what happens in the movie. They get a totem, they do the thing, but then it doesn't work, right? But then they're defeated by just believing that he's like small. He's small, yeah. But it's fine. Battling him out but like a game of wits, I guess, is exactly how it's supposed to be. But I would have just preferred them. Like you didn't need that whole backstory of getting the totem. Just each one of them needed to get together. So that could have been shrunk down a lot then if they didn't have to go out and get each totem. But I guess what they wanted to do with the movie is just leave them alone, and then each one of them have a space to each one of them remember what happened in Derry. So you can see each one of them separately remembering the past. Because otherwise, why would they separate? He needed a purpose to separate them.
Yeah.
So they can each remember. Otherwise, it would just be about him calling all the losers. They come back, and the losers, and then they're like, okay, then they all agree, and then they just go fight.
What do we gotta do?
So they could easily made have been like an hour and a half movie if that's all it was. But I guess he wanted to show an arc.
But I mean, I guess. But in the first one,
that's why I didn't feel long. Huh?
The most of the time, in the first movie.
Right. When they're as children.
It's not as, yeah, they're not alone as much as in this one. And we still got to see a lot of them, a lot of development between all of them, especially together.
Yeah. Well, let's keep in mind that the original story isn't separate like that. It's all mashed up. It's pretty much exactly how this movie is. This movie mashed up with more children flashbacks is pretty much
what the book
is. What the book is. It's just all mashed. It's just that the movie just separated them. But they did say that the director Andy he wants to do a whole supercut
together,
which I think is fine. But if with his vision, I think it would have benefited him more if he would have done like this as like a mini series on Netflix or something. If we would have had like a 10 episode, each of them an hour, I think it would have worked out better. But I did like the first movie a lot more than this one, but I like this one a lot too. Like it worked for me. Everything I do see what you mean about the weirdness, but the weirdness works for me because that's them coming back, and then they don't know. Pretty much, they don't have a memory of their childhood. They don't know who they are. Like we have backstory. We know who we are. We know how we came here. We know how we became the person we are. But they don't. And as soon as they came back to the town, they're getting all these emotions and memories back slowly. So they, in a sense, they're just like relearning who they are, and then that's why the whole creepiness and weirdness kind of works. And then when they're at the Chinese restaurant, I mean, I thought there was very good camaraderie between all of them. Like you felt that at least I felt like the camaraderie, like I felt like they were friends again. Like, as they were kids.
Like it was all of a sudden.
And for sure, Bill Hader like pretty much crushed it as Richie. He pretty much did exactly what I hoped it would be. The whole thing with
him, which it's not that I don't mind it at all, but I feel like it would have been so much better is if they explored it in the first movie. It was about him like probably being gay.
That that was a.
And I mean, he is technically because they kind of make it seem like he had a crush on Eddie.
In this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
Since he was a kid.
Yeah,
well, but they never explored it in the first.
You're right. Yeah, it was kind of like a.
Like it was just out of nowhere. Like it's like fine, whatever, but it would have been so much better.
Yeah, but it doesn't
had it been
necessarily mean that he's
explored.
gay. I mean, it was actually after a fight that they all had, and then he could just be like he really cares about him. It doesn't really make
No,
and
it
not
was-
necessarily
It's
romantic.
because
love.
of the. I'm saying it because of the when they show the flashback of him carving
Right.
his initials and
Yeah.
Eddie's.
Yeah, R and E.
Yeah.
I mean, it could. I don't know if
Well,
it's
it has-
romantic. I know, but
How would that not be?
I mean, they're kids. They're
my
10,
bro.
but they're 10 years old.
But he knew. It's not like
It could
He
be.
knew.
Yeah. All right. Even if it didn't bother me at all. Like he felt like.
And I
love for
guess
him.
I guess the one thing that would kind of point at it, or would make you kind of be like, "Oh, this makes sense," is his whole attitude of being like,
Yeah.
like
So
about girls
yeah.
and
Fuck
things
you
like
attitude.
that,
Yeah. Yeah. That's
like
why.
that kind of makes you like this. Seeing it in this movie does make you be like, "Oh, I kind of understand that more," but still, like I feel like it would have been so much better for the character if you saw that in the first movie.
Right. Yeah.
Like that scene, that flashback of him and that kid that he's playing in the arcade with, that would have been great in the first movie.
That would have been fine in the first one, but I feel like that wouldn't have shown anything if that him
no,
being
but
gay.
it's
It
at
was
least
just-
something.
at least I guess a little
and
foreshadowing.
then like if they show it, and then whatever they show,
Maybe
in
the
this
carving,
movie
yeah,
would have
but
made sense.
yeah, but then I don't know. People would have speculated. They would have been angry of him. They would have thought that he was changing everything. I mean, it's not really implied
The
in
director.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, it's fine. I didn't
It's
really
just-
mind it.
I mean,
what
I-
I
yeah, I
did,
didn't
what I did mind, before I forget, is when Stanley dies and that's fine. The whole suicide at the end, they all get a suicide note. I thought that was unnecessary. They didn't need a suicide note. At all. I don't even know what they were saying. Remember
what
they
it said?
Yeah, like it was that was unnecessary. I didn't think they
I
didn't
don't
need the
know.
suicide note.
I guess it wasn't necessary, but I kind of liked it.
Like I just didn't
I
buy
don't
it
know.
that he was gonna sit there and write it out, and then he remembered everything, and then Rodon just decided he wanted to kill himself. Like
Yeah.
the phone call alone just made them feel
Like
fear.
he already knew. About
Yeah,
everything.
he-
Yeah, you're right.
they made it
'cause
seem like he remembered everything.
He knew about the. Well, he knew that they had to be together in
Yeah,
order to defeat him, and he knew that there was somebody to defeat.
yeah. That's just it was
Like,
just too much. It just wasn't
yeah,
enough
I
for
get
me.
it. I didn't think about that when I was watching it, but yeah, you're right.
Like it should have been phone call. He feels so much fear that he just fucking
He just had to.
he just had to do it. That's that whole scene should have been cut.
Yeah. I guess they didn't want to make him go out as the coward that he seemed.
Yeah, I
because
guess-
they
yeah, you're
they
right.
wanted to show him that he became courageous.
Yeah, they do go out of the way not only to show him that
And,
he was the
uh,
weakest one, and
Yeah, and I guess in this way they were trying to make him be like yes, he committed suicide, but in a way he did it because he knew that if he was there with you guys, he would have held you back.
yeah, that's what they were trying to say. But it wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
It would have worked better if that wasn't there. It's just him showing
No, you're right.
fear.
Because especially because of that stuff, it doesn't make sense that he knows all of that when nobody else knows anything.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
That's what the letter said?
Pretty much.
He
I was
he's
offended
just
with it. I was like, I don't
think so.
care.
he was
Yeah.
just
So
saying
not
that
important.
yeah,
Yeah,
he was
it was-
just saying that he knew that that they had to be all together, like completely together to be able to defeat him, and he knew he couldn't do it if he was actually there. Like he wouldn't be able to go through with it. So he killed himself so that he could be out of the equation.
But
And
Eddie
then
couldn't do it either.
Yeah, but then I don't know, that's just what they said.
Yeah.
I guess in this way he's just out of the equation, so it's like it's fine. Like it wouldn't be okay if he was there and willingly didn't want to do it because he would be afraid, and you don't want someone to be afraid, right? You want them to not be afraid.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were all still afraid. Yeah, like she said, especially Eddie. But that's why he was able to like stand in front of it and try to hurt it.
Yeah,
How did he hurt it again? Did he just? Oh, he stabbed it with the staff, right? That's right.
he like tossed it out.
Yeah, with the fence thing. What are the things from the movie? Yeah, the whole cast was great. I thought it was great. Bill, even Mike.
He looked way like
Oh, Mike?
they make him look like super old
Mike?
in the movie.
He looks fine.
I thought he looked like really old in comparison to like
I think yeah, well, even as a kid, he looked older than all of them.
I guess.
But yeah, once they get into the main cave where it landed,
The what? Oh, the cave.
yeah, where did they do so they do the ritual and then they fail and then you see that they, I don't think they're supposed to be its true form, and that was one of the big things in the miniseries that people hated, that it just turned to a giant spider, and I thought that it was. I didn't think they were gonna do it with this one because I was like, oh, people were really pissed about the giant spider thing, but they kind of still made it a giant spider. But I like how they made it a giant spider. They still use Pennywise's head, but they still had the dead lights.
I like that. Yeah, I like how that looked because it made it seem like it's not his actual body.
Yeah,
like it's just being controlled by what's the actual body.
Yeah, it's still a projection of what it is because.
That part when they show him from behind.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like opened.
Yeah, even that alone is kind of not its true form. Well, it is, but in the way it's like our minds can't really comprehend what its actual true form is. So that's like the closest thing we'd get is just those lights and whatever our fears project. But that's why the giant spider is just a big symbolic meaning of fear, because that's like the most common fear. But yeah, I thought it was a great move to make just the whole mash thing and then to have the deadlights in the back. I liked how Bill Hader was about to attack and he goes all out, but then he just sees the fucking deadlights and then he starts frozen. Yeah, it's supposed to like blow your fucking mind because you're actually seeing how it's supposed to be seen or something like that. And yeah, he almost dies. Eddie didn't die. I thought he was gonna die instantly, but
yeah.
But yeah, that was a pretty sad ending because of Bill Hader. But yeah, they're back and forth.
You know what part felt weird as well? Like right after they leave the place and they jump in the lake. Mm-hmm. That felt super weird to me. Like at any moment, I thought something was gonna happen.
It did feel like when they all went down, they were like your glasses or whatever. It did feel like something was like
you were just holding those glasses. What you mean?
He just dropped them. That's why when he
and the way he was acting, I was like
started bawling.
Like it was just weird. Like
I did feel like that a little bit too, but I thought it was fine when they decided to jump in the pool. They could have just zoomed out as soon when they were all hugging and crying and just pan out from there. Yeah. That would have been fine. But I guess they wanted to show that kiss between her and Ben, Beverly and Ben.
No, I mean, like, could have happened at any other point.
Yeah, they could have just shown them together at the end, which they do.
They did.
Yeah. What do you think of Henry Bowers as an adult with
Henry?
Yeah, they made him Henry Bowers is the crazy kid.
Crazy one, yeah.
They it was kind of.
It was. I felt. Honestly, it was unnecessary.
Yes, it was unnecessary. Now that I'm thinking, there was a lot of It feels like he wanted to stay real faithful to the book, but there were some things that he could have cut out. Like I guess we didn't need Henry Bowers, but at the same time, if he wasn't there, then I would have wanted him there too. At the same time, but now that he was there, it did feel a little unnecessary. So I guess that chunk could have been cut off. Again, it didn't feel long to me, but if I were trying to if I were like an executive producer or I was somebody in charge and they were telling him where he could cut the chunks off, especially when they're all separated to get their totem, that could be cut short. I do feel like they needed to show this movie had to focus more on the adults, but at the same time he had to not forget about Pennywise. So that's why we see Pennywise with
doing random stuff.
Not random. So yeah, killing those kids.
Yeah, but
and that when he kills that little girl, I thought that was a good scene. That kind of mirrors the sewer. But yeah, that was a good one. Kind of felt the visual effects there looked amazing. His face looked clear.
Yeah.
But then when they ultimately kill him, what did you think about when they actually the way they killed him?
I mean, it fits what the story is supposed to be. It fits that the whole thing of them believing and like not being afraid. Like it fits that perfectly. It does feel a little like, how do you say it? What's that word?
Like Ex Machina kind of thing.
Just
like a cheap ending, kind of like easy,
like an
easy way out.
Little. what is it?
Cop out?
No, not a cop out.
No. Like when it's not as exciting.
It's
as
a little
you would've
flat.
thought,
It's just
yeah.
a little flat.
Yeah, it does feel a little bit like that, but it does, like I said, it fits perfectly. So I thought it was fine. And I thought that all of everything that happened in the cave was.
Yeah,
fine.
that was exciting to
Okay,
me.
that's
Yeah, there's a little shout outs to a lot of his other movies too, and we actually get a cameo from him. I thought it was funny that he keeps telling that ongoing joke that Bill is an author and his endings are bad because Stephen King is notoriously known for having really bad endings. Like that's what people tell him. That's what he's known. That's one of the things he's known for, and even he says it. He's saying, "No, I don't want to sign your. I didn't like the ending." But yeah, I thought that was funny. I would have preferred. I didn't mind using their mind to kill him. I would have preferred if Pennywise didn't have to shrink down to like nothing. I guess I get the symbolic meaning, but I would have preferred him just as the way they killed him in the first movie. Just keep him as a clown, and then they all fight him as a clown, or maybe they all fight him as the things they're afraid of. But because not all the things they were afraid of were big things, except for that Paul Bunyan thing.
The what?
The big where the one that Bill sees, the big statue.
Oh yeah.
I didn't think they were gonna do
Yeah.
that. That's also in the book, but I was like, that'll never work. It's not gonna be scary.
It was just random. it was.
But
it was weird.
That's what I'm saying. Like it works for like people like me or people who read the book, because then you can appreciate it. But I do agree that there's some things that you can read, and it's scary. But if you watch it on big screen, it just wouldn't work. It's not. It wouldn't work as.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be as scary.
Yeah, I get.
That's why that statue thing, you have to really rely on the jump scare on that.
Yeah,
Which is fine.
that just happened. I don't know.
But yeah, all in all,
But-
I mean, I would say I really enjoyed this, and I would definitely own it. As a fan of the book, I mean, there's obviously really bad Stephen King movies out there that were horrible adaptations. This is still one of the good ones. I'd say it's still.
It's good.
Yeah.
I liked it. I liked the first one more still than this one.
Yeah, and
But this one was still.
Yeah, if you're out there and you just watch the movie without knowing, I mean, obviously this book is it's kind of intimidating. It's pretty big, but definitely check out the book. You're not gonna regret reading it, and then it's just gonna make you enjoy the movie a lot more and appreciate it way more than. Although I don't know if there's more reviews that like people I follow that read Stephen King and watch the movie, but all the reviews pretty much liked it. I'm still waiting on a couple, but there are some people out there that I feel like they didn't enjoy the adaptation. But we'll see what they have to say. Yeah, but all in all, I thought it was a pretty cool movie.
You know, there was one like the foreshadowing of him, how they were going to defeat him, because early on, I think it was Mike that mentioned that all living things must abide by the shape thing.
Yeah, I would have
I was when I heard him say that, I did kind of think that was gonna have something to do with later on.
later on.
Like in the movie.
I see, because he said at the beginning. Yeah, but then they take that. They were like, oh, we're gonna kill it with this ritual, and then they're like, oh, we gotta shrink it down, and they move to the cage. They're like, no, we can shrink them down like this. It was just yeah. When he said that, I was like, all right, cool. They're gonna shrink them down to whatever each one of them is thinking about, but they shrink them down to just nothing.
It was cool. I like it.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
It didn't-
Yeah, so all in all, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I did like the first part a lot more than this one, but yeah, would definitely own this one for the collection, and I would definitely watch it again. I don't know if I watch it again in theaters, but I definitely watch it again here at home.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
All right, if you guys watch the movie, fans of the movie, or fans of just the book, and well, whatever your thoughts are, just comment below and let us know. All right, see you guys.